Hello everybody and welcome back to Piano Practice Partner. This is the practice along session for the last video lesson. We were looking at this structure, the 2-5-1, which is used across lots of different types of music. And we spoke about what that was. And so I'm just going to write down the 2, the 5 and the 1. So again, we arranged it using these Roman numerals, meaning that in whatever key we're in, we'll be able to play a 2-5-1 if we know what the 2 of that key is, what the 5 of that key is, and what the 1 of that key is. So in C major, the 2 is the D, the 5 is the G, and the 1 is the C. So it had this sound, this dum, boo, doo. So if we're playing that in a different key, so that's the 2-5-1 of F. But you can hear how it follows a similar or the same pattern because it's using the same intervals. So we're using the Roman numerals because it helps us understand the concept in different keys. And we'll get to all those different keys later. For now, we're going to stick to C major, in which we know that the C major is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. So 2, 5, 1. I know I'm re-explaining myself, but again, helping it bed in. So instead of just playing them as single notes, we learned how to then, we just played them as chords. And within the session as well, we spoke about how this D, this 2, isn't just a 2, it's basically the minor second, okay? Much like the A minor here, even though the hand positioning is the same as this, which is a G major, this is an A minor. And it's the same for the D here. This third is actually the flattened third of D. That'd be D major. Play them side by side, you can hear it, can't you? Just this third. So it's the minor 2 moving to the, what we call the dominant for the 5. And then the tonic, the 1 is known as the tonic. So we've got these 3 chords, the minor second, the dominant, and the tonic. And the reason why this is so ubiquitously used is we spoke about how the 2 moving to the 5 creates this sense of tension, and how as listeners we want to resolve that tension. So if I just played the minor 2 to the 5 and left it, it doesn't feel complete, does it? It doesn't feel finished. And we complete that loop, we complete that sound by then resolving to this 1, the tonic. So building tension, resolving tension. And it's very basic principle. That is the 2-5-1 and why it's used. And in much later lessons, we'll be adding to that and embellishing that. But for now, we are going to practice moving between the D, the G, and the C. And just getting used to that sound and picking up our hand and placing it up and down. So here we go. We're going to put not 20 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. And that feels maybe a bit too long to be practicing that. So let's go all the way down. Maybe I'll edit this out. Oh, Jesus. Not so 99 minutes. So let's spend 4 minutes going D, G, C. Ready? Let's go. Halfway there, keep going. Less than a minute remaining. Final 10 seconds. There we go. How was that? So I noticed, and it's something we articulated in the video lesson as well. My left hand can quite easily, all day, I'm not having to move my hand at all, because I can play the D, G, C, 2, 5, 1, without moving my hand. Just use my fingers. Whereas my right hand there, having to constantly pick up and put down. And that's fine, you know, we said that. And that's fine. We argued that actually that's not that big a distance to travel in the grand scheme of things. But doing that for 4 minutes, I don't know about you, but my forearm really started to feel that. So this is where our inversions can come in handy. So rather than picking up and putting down, we can take what we were discussing last time in the lesson and maybe play the G like this. So that we're not having to pick up and move such a great distance. We're using if we remind ourselves of the inversions, so it's G, B, D. Well, we can take this D that's up here and put it down here. So we're just swapping our fingers around. So we can see that actually between this inversion of G and D minor, the 2, it's just moving these 2 fingers down. So there's your 2, there's your 5. D minor, G major. So why don't we try, let's do 3 minutes of just practicing the 2-5-1 again, but instead of playing them all in their primary positions, we're going to go from the D here to the G here. So just practice that now. Playing our D minor and then moving these 2 fingers up 1 whole note and then down to the C. So that's what we're doing for 3 minutes. Same thing, but using the inversion on the G. 3 minutes on the clock. Here we go. Remember, take your time and figure out what that inversion is. Halfway there. Take it as slow as you need to make it nice and accurate. Moving from that D minor to that G in the second inversion to the C. "30 seconds remaining." There we go. 3 minutes done. How was that? That for me was a lot easier than jumping around. My forearm still hurts a little bit because we're learning new skills and developing new muscles, but it didn't hurt anywhere near as much as the constant picking up and putting down. It's really encouraging to know that there are easier routes out there. So for the last bit of the practice session, we've added one inversion already. We've inverted the G from here to here. We can also do the same for the C. So we know that our C major chord is C, E, G. So what happens if we take this C and put it up here? So we're going E, G, C. Because if we move from our D here to our G, what do we need to do to make that C? Well, we know it's C, E, G. We've already got our G here. So all we're having to do is take this finger here and move it up one position to the C, and take this thumb and move it up to the E. So we're just taking these two at the ends and boop. So you can see how easy that is to play through the inversions. We're just stepping up. And in fact, what I'm doing with that C, moving from that G to the C, instead of moving this finger up, actually all I'm doing is I'm using my ring finger on the C here and my thumb. So I'm just stretched there. I can just quite easily swap. So that's the inversion for G, and that's the inversion for C. Magic. We're taking what we learned in the last lesson, the 2-5-1, and combining it with the thing we learned in the previous lesson, the inversions. So that instead of playing, now we're able to go. It's exactly the same thing. We're still playing a 2-5-1, but we've made it easier for ourselves to play in one regard, but also we've given ourselves more options to make a different sounding palette. We can play there, or we can play another inversion for C up there. So we can give ourselves variety to keep our listening ears entertained and keep the music evolving. But for now, let's just play what we were discussing then. The inversion for G, followed by the inversion for C. So 3 minutes on the clock. Remember, take your time, figure out where your fingers need to go to facilitate that. Keep it nice and solid. And then once you get a bit better, maybe we can speed up. Okay, here we go. Halfway there. Take it as slow as you need. Final 30 seconds. Well done. 3 minutes of 251 with 2 inversions. Done. How was that? That felt so much easier for me to play. Maybe it's just because I'm a bit warmer, but I think there's less jumping around, but also getting to switch that ring finger. I think before, because it's you holding your hand in quite a fixed position, you can get a little bit stiff and stuck there. So actually having some variety to be able to use different fingers. I mean, ring finger there, and then I'm using my pinky on that. I don't know if, that's the best way, but it feels comfortable. So getting a bit of variety for which fingers I'm using seemed to help that. And hopefully I'm also building in some more dexterity into my playing. Well done, everybody. Thank you for practicing along with me. I hope that's made the 251s feel a little bit easier, and also the inversions. If you want to, in your own practice, come back to this session, just rework through things, but obviously you can set your own timer, set your own challenges. We know how inversions work, and what we haven't done is we didn't look at any inversions for the D here, the D minor. But we know how to make an inversion, so we're just taking these notes and reordering them. So we could do the 2 there, and then figure out how we get to G from there. And then an inversion on the C. So treat this like a little game, a little interesting puzzle. What inversions can you make from those 3 chords? What are the best combinations that work for you? What makes sense? What sounds nice? What feels nice in the hands? It's a little game. It's a little mathematical, fun little jigsaw, which we can just slowly piece together and hopefully enjoy the process of doing that. But thank you so much for turning up and for practicing. I'll see you next week for the next lesson.